You could call it fear, but it wasn't. It was excitement. It was challenge. It was being completely alive. And that is the thing that people who go to sea wind up having an understanding of. It's a thing that you see in that old fisherman's eyes, that old salt that you talk to on the dock. He's got this look, and you see it, and you don't really know what it means, but it's because of what Mother Ocean can teach you.
Al heel mijn leven heb ik gedroomd over de zee. Een plek die nog helemaal onaangetast is. Voor het eerst kan ik gaan en staan waar ik wil. Iets wat me op het land nooit lukte.
Hey Ron! Look at you! Beautiful! Told you, eh? Fantastic! You gonna anchor for a while or what?
Yeah.
You know, as a small kid, like when I was probably 4 or 5, maybe 6, 7, I'm not real sure, but I wanted to be a bum, a hobo, a tramp. That was my ambition, you know. Somewhere in my being, you know, this is what I do, you know. I mean, it's predetermined somehow. I don't know, you know, from another life or what it is, but I wanted to be a hobo. Now that's what kind of an ambition is ever a kid, you know? But that's what I am, you know? I mean, I'm as close to a South Sea bum as you could possibly get in this day and age, you know?
When you set off on a boat like this, with all the food you needed and all the water you needed and this whole self-contained thing, you were completely and utterly free. The horizon, you looked up there and where are we gonna go? Where the wind blows. We don't, you know, we'll go over here. If the wind blows this way, we'll go over there. If the wind blows the other way, it doesn't really matter. Where we are is what counts. I was almost 30 years old, and I was living in Austin, Texas. Beautiful town. Had a little building company, architectural design company. Had a little sports car, little boat on the lake. I would go down to Guatemala every winter and go traveling for a little bit. And that was part of what did it, I guess, because it made me realize that there was more to the world, more to life than what I was going to be able to understand by living in Austin, Texas.
All my life, I wanted to sail into the South Pacific. I've had a strong, strong draw to go to the South Pacific. And my wife and I, we married, she was still in high school when we got married, and our plan was just to get our kids out of America, get out of Los Angeles, I guess. We planned from an early age to buy a boat. We knew nothing about sailing, but we knew there was a different life. And I was lucky enough to get a job, and by the time I was 25, I guess, and I remember the day I quit, nobody believed I would do it, but I just quit. I stopped, okay, it's the end of it. And I carried my boots down to the end of the dock. I'd already bought the boat. I carried my boots down to the end of the dock and just threw them in the water. Said, that's it. And I went barefoot from then on, you know?
Het land ligt steeds verder achter me en de horizon lonkt. Ik ben even vrij als de vogels boven me. Er is slechts dag of nacht. En voor het eerst ligt niets meer vast.
It's because of what Mother Ocean can teach you. She teaches you unbelievable beauty, incredible glory. This is a wet planet. If you go sailing, you don't see land for day after day after day after day after day, and you realize suddenly that the land is the tiny bit and that the ocean is the real mother. The romance is exactly what me and my gang would feel when the horizon dropped behind us and you left all your cares about the real world behind. And the only thing that you could see was the horizon ahead of you. If you're on a boat and something starts to go wrong, the front sail on a boat is called the jib, and it's got ropes that hook to it that hold it in place. And if one of those ropes breaks and the jib starts flailing around like this and going crazy in a big wind, then as a sailor, you know that you need to get it down before it shreds itself. And if you don't get it down before it shreds itself, then it's going to shake the rig so hard that maybe some part of the rig will break, the mast. And then if that part breaks, then the mast will fall down. And if that falls down, then it'll poke a hole in the side of the boat. And everything just goes and goes and goes. So what you realize is that even though you're looking out there and it's a nightmare out there, there's waves crashing over the bow, but you start putting on your foul weather gear. Because you know you have to do something. You have to do something or this thing is just going to increase and so it's just all going to go wrong. So you take a step, you create an action, and you get over your fear. And that is exactly what we need on our planet right now.
De nachten onder een overvloed aan sterren maken plaats voor tirannie en grote klappen op de golven. Het idee om te vluchten van je problemen door weg te zeilen is een fabeltje. Het is afzien. Ik zweer dat ik één zekere nacht een kleine in het zwart geklede Italiaan tegen de mast zag staan.
First, we conquer our fear when it's really gnarly and you're out there and the waves are going over you and you're clutching on to not die. And then 2 days later, there's dolphins on the bow. And I get up every day and I see beauty. I see amazing sunsets and fish jumping out of the sea. And so my life is blessed with these indicators all the time of the magic of life. It hits you, and so you revel and you feel the magic of the very same sea that was trying to kill you 2 days before. I left thinking it was going to be a 4 or 5 year adventure, that I was going to, go travel and see things, learn things, come back to my nice little life. And I went back for a visit thinking, see how this feels. And I realized, no, I'm not ready to come back to the ordinary thing yet. And what was very interesting that happened, which is something that happens to a lot of people after their first time out traveling, is that when you get back, you realize that everything is the same. And so for me, I realized after the first time I went back that I wasn't ready. And then I went back again about 8 years later, and I felt the same. In fact, that time I was even a little bit more disgusted by the consumerism. I got back, and on the very first day, my sister took me to the mall. And I'd been living in the islands, and people live such simple, wonderful, happy lives. And I mean, it just seems idiotic when you come from somewhere like this to somewhere like that, where the extravagance and the definition of need seems so out of balance.
I'm totally happy with my life. I'm a very lucky man in as much as I got the girl that I've dreamed about my whole life. Layla is probably the most beautiful girl in all of Fiji. And you should have seen her. I met her when she was 26 years old. She was just way too wild in those days. But she had just come back from a trip around the world. And she came back to Fiji. She does her laundry in the stream. That's my kind of girl.
Maar ook hier lonkt de zee weer naar me. Het lijkt te veel op thuis. De maatschappij is overal.
It's a full moon, and a full moon at sea means that the sun is going down over there when the moon is coming up back there. And that's one of the more amazing things you can ever see in your life. The sun becomes this big around and melts into the sea, and the moon comes up as this unbelievable big orange thing, and the dolphin making all the sparkles in the sea. It's overwhelmingly glorious how magic the planet feels. And your boat is scooting along, silently blown by the wind. And I know people who can live in the middle of a concrete jungle and yet can still sense and feel that same beauty of life.
Tumble down, covering all. And when we move around, seas fire seems to glow around us.
Ik hoop dat als ik weer thuis ben, ik me even vrij kan voelen als hier, op die blauwe zee.
Fire seems to glow around us.